being here and listening to the program. If you're watching as well on Warchant TV, YouTube, we appreciate that. As always, hope your weekend went well. Well, Tommy Castellanos isn't lacking confidence, Tom. Oh, man, I'll get to it. I'll get to it in a second. I actually I don't care. Players are quirky, and I don't, they all can be silly. But obviously, you would think that the sports information staff would have maybe put the kibosh on this, would have maybe made sure that didn't happen. What are we doing over there, Derek? I mean, can we button up? But I'll get, again, that in a moment. How you doing, buddy? Doing all right? You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. The news cycle was pretty normal for a slow Monday in June until before I got out the door and I saw, old Nakos has an article with Tommy C. I wonder what he had to say. I suppose for the doldrums of the summer, this is good.
Oh, yeah.
But, I prefer it not.
I think that's the better way to look at it, right? It's like, probably not a good idea. No real reason to do that coming off of 2-10. You've never started a game here, but okay. The other side of it is, look, we haven't had any confidence in some time at that position. He clearly feels very, very confident about his ability and what he thinks is going to happen this year.
Well, and I think he wants everybody to know that Nick Saban is not walking through that door from the coach's office into the locker room. That's very important to him.
Today, by the way, we sit at 60 days, 23 hours till the start of college football. Tomorrow, as we roll in here, Tom, we're in the 50s. How about that? Buddy?
Like Beaver Cleaver.
I'm in a good mood. We're getting there. We are getting there. So August the 23rd, week 0, games begin. My brother's birthday. I will never forget this particular brother's birthday because I used his fake ID. So I always had to remember the 23rd was my birthday as I went into the club. Always. It was much easier back then. I don't think you can do it anymore. Now it's like the new IDs. They don't even look like driver's license anymore.
Oh well, that's a sign.
Holograms and stuff.
I know. Yeah, real IDs.
Yeah,
well, it is real.
Yeah,
I'm holding it. No, but it's not a real ID. I'm like, well, but yes, it is.
Oh, sir.
Well, that goes back to the generations. Your dad and my dad can tell stories about the piece of paper that looked like the old piece of paper we used to get for insurance policies. The car insurance, like the flimsy little
things.
That was their license.
Yeah,
no picture. 18 years old to drink. My goodness, what a day.
We have a new world champion in the NBA. We have a new college World Series champion. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. 8 titles for LSU. Now, the bigger story wasn't LSU winning, but the clown ump show that began the game in the first inning, which now they've had to come out and release a statement with. And it's never going to be a good look because the umpire that ran Coastal Carolina's coach is the same umpire who never got full-time employment in the MLB because of his temperament. And he was asked to hit the road in 2014 because he couldn't handle being criticized. And he also, just a year ago, I believe it was the Clemson Regional, had an unfortunate incident where he ran their best player. Get it over yourself, umpires.
Honestly, I don't know, outside of maybe like a school principal, a profession that pays around that much in which you need to be able to handle criticism like the most. That's probably the first thing you need.
Yeah.
An official, an umpire, principal. They're just people who take a beating, and that's the part of the job.
Yeah, well, or the ability to discern the moment. This isn't a Tuesday in the middle of the season. This is the College World Series, and I get that coach is a hothead himself. In that moment, the second he steps over the line, you walk towards him and you say, "Look, man, I don't want to do this, but we're done here. We're done here. I don't want to run you in the championship series with your season on the line. but you're about to leave me no choice. This is the conversation.
Well, this is why we love the old Terry Collins clip, because it needs to be like an action movie at its cliche. Where, don't make me do this. I don't want to do this.
Well, I would think as an umpire, I mean, obviously, everybody's very aware of the situation. That's any championship game. That's true in like a NCAA tournament basketball game. That's true of a playoff run in the NFL or the Super Bowl. It's true. Like, there's going to be a little bit bigger grace period typically when things are starting to get, go off the rails. Most of the time, the really good officials will walk over to you and say, look, we're about done here. There ain't going to be too many more MFs or whatever. We're done.
I don't want to do this, but I will not hesitate.
Right.
I will not hesitate.
That's right. That's it. Like, you have the conversation.
I won't like it.
But yeah. It's what it is. It's what it is. All right. So to the Tommy Castellanos conversation, for those people that have not seen the Pete Nakos article, Thomas Castellanos on opportunity at Florida State. I'm trying to save jobs and win. I'm sure his coaches don't love that. But that was a quote. He mentions in the story, I won't read verbatim the story, that he wishes he had left Boston College when Jeff Hafley took the job with the Green Bay Packers to be a defensive coordinator in 2024. It didn't work out. He points out it's obvious that he and Bill O'Brien clashed early on, did not see eye to eye. At the end of the day, he was very excited to be contacted by Florida State when he became available, partly because he's always wanted to go to Florida State, but also he thought that he and Malzahn would be a really good fit. And now I'll get into some of the quotes in said article that people will be talking about. They'll especially be talking about it because it is June the 23rd, and we're in the midst of it, man. It's the weighty time of it's close, but it's not as close as we'd like it to be. So anything you can get here, I would be very careful when I grant certain interviews, and I'm monitoring that situation. Let's go easy on poking the bear here. Alabama probably has, within the next 2 years, 10 to 15 players that'll be turning pro, getting drafted in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. Florida State, as of right now, might have none. So let's not go ahead and agitate, draw attention, especially on the heels of 2-10. But here you go. First off, Florida State's been the school I've always wanted to go to. It's my dream school. I just feel like it's right. I remember the last time I went to a 2-10 team. You didn't have to bring that up again. And had a successful season. I wanted that challenge to come over here and turn this thing around and get it back to where it needed to be. Plus, I feel like I had a pretty good season or 2 seasons there at Boston College. I feel like if I did what I did over there, over here, then it'll be way bigger. It'll mean a lot more at Florida State about Gus Malzahn. He's just giving me the keys and allowing me to be me. Go out there and play football within the offense. That's what I need. I don't need a dog collar or a leash on me. I just need the coach to say, just go be you. Go play. That's what I was missing. Castellanos has made 20 career starts in college. He's 11-10. He's a dual threat quarterback that has thrown for 3,689 yards, 33 touchdowns, 19 interceptions is excessive. He's rushed for 1,427 yards and 15 scores. He's also put the ball on the ground. We're going to need him to rein in the turnovers for this to be a success. And I agree with him about utilizing his greatest attribute. I would utilize the hell out of it and hope like hell he doesn't get hurt. I worry about it. He's not a big guy. And he's going to get dinged. Your backup quarterback is going to be really important this year. But I don't think you embrace this style of offense, and I don't think you embrace this move without embracing him being the runner that he is. He was the first Boston College player to record 2,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards in a season. He said he was drawn to Florida State because of the levels of desperation both the player and the program share. Just how desperate they were. And the same way for me. If this doesn't go right, then who knows? But I just liked how desperate they were. They could have gone out and gotten any quarterback in the country with their NIL, and they chose me. Just excited to be where I wanted to be from the get-go. Norvell believed in me to be his quarterback and to be back with Gus. This could be it right there. All they need is one season and 1 year. I feel like I have the skill set to be one of the best. Now I just have to turn this thing around for these guys, for this community, this fan base, the staff. I'm not just playing for Florida State. I'm playing for coaches who are fathers and who have homes and families. I'm trying to save jobs and win. Now, okay, if I'm Mike, I'm telling him that's not what you're doing. You go be the best version of you. Stop worrying about the fathers and husbands and families that you say you're also playing for. Nope. That's outside of what you can control, and I wouldn't worry about that. Oh, by the way, Thomas, any of these guys that get fired that are up against it because they were part of a 2-10 season or part of a rebuild, they're all multimillionaires. They're going to be okay. I wouldn't so much worry about trying to save people's jobs as I would trying to turn this thing around for you and your teammates to be the best possible team that you can be. Stop worrying about people's jobs. So, look, it is pointed out, obviously, that this is a difficult task for him to revamp a Florida State offense that finished the regular season 132nd in the nation, averaging 270 yards per game. But he's excited about the players he gets to do it with. And for that, I agree with him. Having a Deuce Robinson, having a Randy Pittman, having a Squirrel White is exciting. To that end, Castellanos said, I didn't have nearly as much talent as I do here, talking about his time at Boston College. I didn't have the guys. But over here, I have some of the best athletic guys. I'm not the fastest one on the team over here. I'm not the most athletic guy on the team here. Just being around these guys, just instilling in their heads the winning mentality and what we can do. They got the team, they got the guys. All they needed was a leader in place to lead them. We need to get back to that mentality of ACC championships, to be a good playoff run, to a national championship. But for me, I know I have the skill set to be a Heisman contender, to be up in New York. Okay. Believes that they can put the nation on notice when they face Alabama here in Tallahassee, August 30th. I'm excited. People, I don't know if they know, but you go back and watch every first game that I've played in, we always start fast. I've dreamt of moments like this. I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them anymore. I just don't see them stopping me. And then the ACC, I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years, and now I'm with a squad. I hope people don't think that Florida State's going to be the same team it was last year because we have weapons. People can't just sit back in zone coverage and watch me. I hope you're right, young man. I hope you are right. And in theory, that should be true with what you've brought in. We'll see. I think I would have probably advised against saying they don't have Nick Saban to come in and save them anymore, and I don't see how they can stop me. Would have stopped short of that one. Don't suppose that I'm in any way upset about a quarterback brimming with confidence. I am like the rest of the fan base that might look at this and kind of go, okay, that's just a young man. That's just a prideful, confident young man. I'm more of a, not jaded, but more of a, we'll see. We'll see. I think that's where we're all at. I mean, everybody in this fan base is just in wait and see mode. They've been burned. I mean, this goes back. We've documented, talked about it a lot. Bottom line is you go back to the Jordan Travis injury. Really, that night on has been a nightmare. You know, he breaks his leg, the snub happens, and then you go 2-10. Nothing's gone right for this program since that fateful evening. And I want to believe that everything he just laid out, that he's going to do as he's done in the previous 2 seasons, quote unquote, and tear up the league, that he's got more weaponry to do it with, that his confidence will lead the way for a team that has been sorely lacking in confidence. Results obvious. We want to see the drastic turnaround of which he speaks, but I think most of us are kind of like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, this game, as we talked about earlier today in our usual Monday conversation, it's not really a coin flip, this game. It's a casting of a die. There could be so many things that happen when we play Alabama. Some really, really bad, some outrageously good and maybe program changing. I like about 25% of the quotes that I read in this article. From
Just 25%?
You could probably do without the other 75%.
Yeah.
Because the problem I have with this is if you look back at the Boston College situation, it shows me that it definitely took two to tango, the problem that he had with Bill O'Brien. Now, Bill's reputation is awful in terms of dealing with players. That preceded him to Boston College, so it wasn't a surprise.
And he's a difficult man to deal with in any of this stuff.
The stuff with DeAndre Hopkins, for example,
right.
Oh my, cringe.
Right.
So when he leaves the program, I could understand why under Bill O'Brien you might do that. Also, you're not the style of quarterback that Bill wants.
Correct.
And he's asking you to do things that aren't even your strength. So, like, I can understand from all those circumstances why Tommy was choosing to dismiss himself in a way from the program. But then I read this, I'm like, oh, God. Okay, so definitely we had two people at fault here. And we've got a quarterback that if times are good, we're fine. But I'm not really sure that if this thing spirals and it doesn't get off to a great start, that we've got somebody who's going to be front and center. Maybe he would be, but it calls that into question for me.
Well, what he has done is certainly put the target on himself, but you might say to yourself at that point, that's okay. A starting quarterback is supposed to be brimming with confidence. A starting quarterback is supposed to be the leader of a football team. The starting quarterback should want all the smoke, as they say, and he's going to get it. He's going to get it with these quotes, and that's fine. It's all relative. I think once a game starts, most of this goes out the window. It will be talked about a lot today, and in the weeks leading up to the game, maybe it'll resurface. Certainly, but early July, it's not going to be brought up much. But yes, there's no shortage of bravado for this young man. He'll be made to eat crow if they dominate him, shut him down, and control the game. But who knows? Maybe, just maybe, he has a great game, and Florida State pulls an upset, and it would be a significant upset as a 12.5-point underdog to beat Alabama. And then you have this charismatic leader who always believed, and all of a sudden the narrative shifts. We know how this works.
Yeah, yes, you're 100% right. That is something that could happen.
Oh, I'm not saying it will, but I'm just saying that's
the number one. Yeah, I know. Usually I'm the optimistic one. Just I think the quote that I have the hardest time with is that I took on the ACC by my damn self.
Right.
So, what would your teammates in Boston College say about you after reading that? That's not a leader.
No,
that's not a leader.
It's not ideal. No.
There are plenty of dudes on that team that were okay. They had a couple really good offensive linemen. Robichaux was a good running back.
In the NFL. They had a great rush in. They had, yes.
Early in his time, the one receiver who was pretty decent. Like, oh, by yourself? So you did this by yourself. So now you're telling me that your perception of what happened when you rushed for 1,100 yards at Boston College was you against the world. Man, there's leadership, and then there's me against the world. And I've seen a little bit more of me against the world in this particular article.
Well, I think you have to, this is where I talked about, like, what are we doing over there at Sports Information? You know what you have on your hands. You have a kid who's charismatic and filled with bravado and has no shortage of, look at me. And in the moment, you got to realize, okay, so let's have the conversation about what we do and do not say and why, and the way that this is going to be perceived. You may not mean it that way. You may just be talking off the cuff and having fun, but words in print tend to read differently than they do when you're just sitting there having an off the cuff conversation with a reporter.
For sure. I don't think there's any context that justifies I took on the ACC by myself.
No,
there's no like,
not.
well, what did you mean? Like, that's not what I meant. Oh, there's nothing you could mean other than I had a bunch of bums that were with me.
Sure.
And I was the one out of 11 that was worth a damn. And I lifted us by myself to a place of respectability.
Yeah. And quarterback wins.
Yeesh.
Quarterback wins are not a stat, but it's always good to be mindful that you were 11 and 10 in 21 games. You weren't whooping anybody's ass.
And I know he's saying that in the context of, well, I've got a squad now. Yeah, well, what if we lose a couple games? Are they still your squad? Or is it going to be the attitude of, well, I'm doing my part, and these jokers don't even know, from an elbow? That's what concerns me. I think this article would create, for Mike Norvell and Gus Malzahn, a need to send a text and say, we need to talk.
Oh, I think you would probably just say, look, we've got a lot to repair. There's a lot to overcome. We are not a program that too many people are going to take seriously until we start actually winning games. 2-10 has left us maybe maybe in a place where we just need to show and prove. Let's show and prove and not talk about it. Mike did a lot of talking of his own last year. Norvell told everybody about how great that offensive line was going to be, and that it was the most powerful, biggest, and best, most dynamic offensive line he'd had. I'm sure, he regrets that. Regrets saying that. I think there were a lot of lessons learned there. Now, obviously, Castellanos was not on that team. For him, for his part, the younger members of this fan base will embrace this because they're tired of watching us walk around sheepishly ashamed and embarrassed about what we are. And so they'll say, no, somebody's got to come in and conjure up that sort of belief and confidence.
Yeah.
That's what they'll say.
You got to lean into that now. You got no choice.
You got no choice.
To lean into that now. And that's the thing is, if it's, hey, all I'm hearing is Alabama's going to kill us, and I got no time for that. I'm here to tell you something about these guys I've worked with in spring.
Right. That's a better talking point.
I've come back from a 2-10 season, and I carried the team on my own damn back. And now I've got people who actually don't suck. Isn't that cool?
Yes, you did.
And they don't have Nick Saban. Little different energy,
Well, I think the part that's kind of comical is that I don't see them stopping me. Well, they've played better, Tommy. They've played better. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe they won't. That'd be great. I still think that somebody made a mistake over there. I would have been very careful about what I'm allowing for.
The old Jameis no, Jameis why. It's an elite all-time clip.
It's a great clip from Jimbo, yeah.
We might need to go get our guy from Warrior, Nick Nolte, going, Tommy.
Oh, buddy. I just know enough to know that once the game kicks off, a lot of this goes away. It doesn't really matter all that much. So I don't want to overemphasize. Like, there'll be people who are bitterly disappointed with this, and I understand that. But I also know that most of it doesn't mean much in June. It doesn't. It seems silly. It certainly doesn't make a lot of sense to pop off after a 2-10 season, and you haven't proven yourself for a single down in the Garnet and Gold. That they haven't played a game.
Got to get my brand up. Got to go talk to Nakos.
Go see my man Shannon Young. If you're looking for a new home, best loan options will be found by Shannon Young. Loansforknowles.com, the website, serving 7 states: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. Shannon is a tireless worker, relentless and goal-oriented. He is filled with energy, and that's because my man loves his job and has a passion for it. But most importantly, he is knowledgeable and has unwavering commitment. Loansforknowles.com. That's loansforknowles.com.
Ain't nothing but a G-pop, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix!
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
When you need the plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to wait?
Hey guys, we really need you over here. My toddler just flushed a whole bunch of toys down the toilet and everything, and I mean everything, is backing up.
2 hours?
Hey guys, just checking in. The water has reached the hallway now and it's getting pretty deep. Can you get here anytime soon?
4 hours?
Hey guys, can you please hurry? Now my wiener dog is doing the backstroke over here and they're not known to be strong swimmers. Hey honey, grab his life jacket.
8 hours?
Oh, so now you're here.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. Our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. And now M&L Plumbing can also be your go-to for all septic tank pump-out services. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing. Your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
This week's Legacy Moment, brought to you by Cornerstone Memorials, remembers Officer Miguel Santiago, a beloved member of the Tallahassee Police Department. Known for mentoring teens and walking neighborhood beats with purpose and pride, Officer Santiago believed policing was about presence, not power. After his sudden passing in 2022, hundreds attended his vigil. His dedication lives on in the Explorer program he helped launch for local youth. We salute Officer Santiago, a true hometown hero. This has been a Legacy Moment, honoring the lives that shaped Tallahassee. Sponsored by Cornerstone Memorial, helping families honor their loved ones with dignity and care. Find out more online at cornerstonememorials.org. Do you know of a Tallahassee legacy that should be shared? Text the word legacy to 850-386-8255 to submit your story for the Cornerstone Memorial's Legacy Moment.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I see that the pressing matter of a legacy blue chip flipping from Auburn to FSU is a more interesting and fun story to talk about. Devin Carter making his way back to Tallahassee. And, hey, look, I remember watching his father, Dexter Carter, back in the day. I'm having that conversation too frequently these days. In fact, the other day, by the way, Tom, the game between the Giants and 49ers was on reruns of the NFL. You know, there's that channel that reruns old NFL games. At least it does on my Samsung television. And that game was on, and Dexter Carter had a big kickoff return in a game that was a classic. Hostetler versus Montana.
Oh, Jeff Hostetler.
Mm-hmm.
He had a cannon, didn't he?
He did. He was a whatever quarterback, but yes, yeah, he did. But yeah, Dexter Carter caught the edge and got about 42 yards on a return. I was like, oh man, Dexter was good.
Hey, well, it's happening to me now. Lawrence Timmons' kid is potentially maybe thinking about flipping to Florida State.
Let's go.
He was a junior when I was a freshman, I want to say.
Timmons is one of those guys who obviously had a great NFL career with the Steelers. And funny thing about Timmons is that he was one of those players that if you asked other players about, they would all immediately like, yeah, you don't play with Lawrence. Not like that. Because you talk with some guys and you talk about like, you know, the matchups. Running backs would talk about Lawrence Timmons like, oh, no, you get out of bounds when he comes up on you. You don't want to deal with that.
I remember having hope. I guess he was a junior when I was a sophomore. I remember having hope in 2006 when he was interviewed before the Florida game. It was a noon kick that day that Florida ended up winning the title. We lost 21-14. It's a close game. Buster Davis took out Percy Harvin over the middle in the course of that game. But that was linebacking right there.
Oh.
Buster Davis and Lawrence Timmons.
Yes.
Lawrence was interviewed pregame and asked by Tom Block, are you coming back next year? He said, yes. I was like, okay, we got Lawrence back. He did not return. He told the people what they wanted to hear until it was time to declare for the draft.
That is correct. The good news here for Florida State is, and I'll just touch on this briefly, Devin Carter, who way back when, I think a couple years ago, was a Florida State commit, and then was, witnessing what was going on here, decided to take it to Auburn. And the thought, we've had a pretty consistent conversation centered around why does Florida State struggle with some of their legacies? Why aren't they doing a better job of bringing in elite talent, especially when that talent is the son of a young man that played for Bobby Bowden, or the son of a guy that played here in the Jimbo era, or whatever it might be. And that is frustrating, because it ought not be like getting blood from a stone. You would think you would have a distinct advantage, but we were not operating in the world of recruiting, still aren't to varying degrees, at peak efficiency. But you got to get better in areas where it should be easy. It should be easy to get a legacy in here and kind of win them over. And so the fact that now has happened, you give credit to this staff. I think one would have to give credit to Tim Harris Jr. This is a win for him to get him in, and we're waiting on the new staff to start making an impact in recruiting. So when it happens, you got to call it out. There's an example of a win in recruiting.
This is a legit player too. It's not just about legacy.
Right.
This is a legit player. He's top 150 in the country in both services. I think he's around top 125 in one of the two major services in terms of the rankings. Including Brandon Bennett, who they got a couple weeks ago. That's now 2 4-star receivers in the fold for Florida State. And
Ephraim White.
Correct.
There's another one.
Yes, and he locked it down or shut it down this weekend.
That's 3.
If they want to take Madden Williams, I think he's interested in flipping, and he's another 4-star. So, yes, they have done a lot of work, and you would say Gus Malzahn offense, this many 4-star receivers. I do think this flip does not happen without Jaden O'Neal's commitment yesterday. I think these are connected.
Well, we said all along that whether or not you think he's a proper fit for Gus Malzahn's offense, you still have to sign an upper echelon name quarterback in this class. And he is that, regardless if you think of how he fits or what his upside is or the long-term chances that he ever suits up in the garnet and gold and becomes an elite player for you or not. It doesn't really matter. This would be about perception. This would be about momentum. This would be about not only the recruit himself, but also getting the opportunity for the other players like you're mentioning now with Carter and Bennett and White signing on. I think in large part it's because you have a named quarterback recruit that has now said yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a receiver, you like this style of quarterback better. That's the one thing, too. What we're talking about, is it a fit for Gus? Well, for a receiver, it's a very nice fit because you see arms, you see the strength, you see the accuracy down the field, and you see a propensity for this quarterback who's not the fastest in the world, but is certainly mobile. Jaden O'Neal is mobile. You see somebody who can break the pocket and keeps his eyes down the field. That's all a bunch of tape that is attractive to me if I'm a receiver. So if I feel like offensively they stabilize things on the staff, I'm liking the answers I'm getting. It doesn't seem like it's a bleep show at Florida State, and they got a quarterback too. Okay, I might be willing to take the leap, and that's what a couple of kids have done now.
Yeah, a little momentum. We'll see. I do this with all recruiting discussions. How much does any of this mean if you do not go out and have success this season? Most of these guys, the guys you're most excited about, will go elsewhere if Florida State proves to be the same sort of blank show they were a year ago. You'll get none of them. None of them. This is all based on the belief that was a hiccup, a one-year anomaly, an outlier. That the season before it was more indicative of where the program was headed based on the 19 straight wins and what seemed most likely to happen, that this was a disaster that spiraled out of control but will be a blip on the radar. That's what those kids that are committing to Florida State currently are telling you they believe to be true. That was the anomaly, not the reality. But what proves that is this upcoming season. I cannot reiterate enough. Most of you already know it. It seems self-explanatory. It is a very straightforward approach to a season. It does not involve, unlike the Tommy Castellanos quotes, a whole lot of rhetoric. This is about whether you do or do not win enough football games to continue forward momentum and a belief amongst recruits of the upper echelon that this is a program still headed in the right direction. Only wins, only a good season sustains any of the momentum that's perceived to be going on in recruiting right now in June. Only whether or not you succeed at a fairly high level will be indicative of further good news in the world of recruiting. That's it. And I don't mean the Alabama game. You could lose the Alabama game. Now, we've said before it'd be ideal not to get your ass beat in the Alabama game. I'd like to see a competitive football game, bare minimum. Keep it in the neighborhood of that there spread, and all is not lost. Of course, it'd be great to actually win the game, of course, and I'm not conceding the game. But you got to win one of the first two big ones. Chef Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A man is dead after a shooting that happened late last week in Tallahassee. TPD said they are investigating the fatal shooting that happened in the 1600 block of Stuckey Avenue around 4 p.m. Thursday. Officers say they found a deceased adult male suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. TPD is encouraging anyone with information about this deadly shooting to call 850-891-4200 or to remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers at 850-574-TIPS. A historic building known as the Walker Street School in Quitman was destroyed in a fire. It happened early Friday morning. Fire Chief Anthony Guarino says the immediate danger to the surrounding homes in the area was de-escalated within 30 minutes after firefighters' arrival. It took hours to put out the flames as the more than 20,000 square foot building went up. The city of Quitman owned the building, which had sat empty for several years. The state fire marshal is currently investigating the incident. This is Rachel Anay with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance of thunderstorms this afternoon, otherwise mainly sunny. High of 97. Easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows dip down to about 75. Slight chance for isolated thunderstorms tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 97, mainly sunny. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 91 degrees.
Do you own a small business? Let me guess. You started your business so you could get bogged down with payroll and bookkeeping, office tasks, and other paperwork, right? Probably not. I'm Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions. Allow me to help you get out from behind your desk and get back to doing what you love. For any of your payroll, bookkeeping, or other business services, give me a call today and allow me to take it off your plate. You can find my contact information online at collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And,
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, I want to make it abundantly clear. I just checked over in the chat for the first time today. Hello, everybody. I get it. I think somebody in there said most of us understand. Patrick said most of us understand wins and losses will directly impact this recruiting class. You're right, Patrick. I agree. Most people listening to this show understand that. But people get very, very excited by these incremental gains in moments in recruiting. And I just want to remind everybody that, do so within reason. It's good to get a yes as opposed to a no. It's good to get a legacy in here who can really play. It's good to show progress with the new coaches on staff, making connections, making inroads in the recruiting world, without question. But I know that it's all relative and that a lot of that fine work and successes that we're talking about now go by the wayside fairly quickly if you don't win either of the two Alabama and or Miami games. You lose both those games. Now, your first 5 games are whatever, right? You have Alabama, big one, 2 nondescript East Texas A&M Kent State games, a Friday night Virginia game, again, fairly irrelevant unless you lose it, and then the Miami game. If you're 0 for 2 in your 2 marquee games, Alabama and Miami, all is lost. The kids will begin to drop like flies. You're not going to go beat Clemson on the road, so then that would make you 0-3. And a lot of us would be looking around going, what is it you say you do here, Mike? This would be the end of the run. This is of massive importance. Tons of money not only being spent in NIL, facilities, stadium upgrades, coaching contracts. It's a big season. It is a very, very big season, and it weighs heavy, even here in June. Thinking about what's at stake, and obviously nobody knows that more than Mike. His job is on the line. A lot of people's jobs are on the line. I think about it from the standpoint of our love of FSU and where we're at. You know, where we're at a very consequential time in college football. And you do, some people say, feel like you have a get out of jail free card because of where we think this is all headed eventually anyhow, which is a super league of sorts. And that Florida State, regardless of this bump in the road, if you want to call it that, are going to be part of it because of the cachet of 40 plus years of obviously brand recognition and success. But you don't want to wait that long. And you'd like to put yourself in the best possible position to see some of that money a little bit sooner, perhaps pressing the envelope a little bit by succeeding now and forcing Fox or ESPN to jump, to make a move, to get you the hell up out of here before 2030, 2031. A lot on the line.
It's a lot on the line for the Auburn Tigers, too, who are falling to pieces. That is where Devin Carter flips from. I'm looking at the On3 rankings right now. Do you want to take a guess where Auburn is before Devin Carter and the flip goes through their computer system?
17th.
Keep going. Give you one more shot.
27th.
47th. 47th in the country in recruiting because they've been leaking oil. They're down 39 spots in the last, however, I don't know how long it goes, but it says the change in Auburn's recruiting ranking is 39 spots they've dropped before Devin Carter leaves. So they're going to be outside of the top 50 in recruiting. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. I know it ain't good. Maybe their checks are bouncing. Maybe there's dysfunction with the coaching staff and Hugh Freeze. But whatever it is, they're going to drop over 40 places in the recruiting rankings. That's like something that would happen when you go 2-10, not in the off season. That is bizarre.
It's bizarre because they have the money and they have been flaunting it in going after players. They understand. Hugh Freeze has even said it publicly that, you know, they get, this is it. This is the season. This is the time. So I'm wondering, you know, has the money dried up, to your point? It seems strange to me. It doesn't. Most of the SEC schools, most of them, money's not the problem. And especially not one as rabid as Auburn and their efforts in the past. I mean, this was always a program that was willing to spend. This was always a program, even before it was legal, was willing to spend.
Which would put you in a position here because when they're desperate, and when schools are desperate, they will overpay. It's the old S tax, and we're using it right now. In December, that's what we did. You have to be leery of Auburn come signing day because this screams to me just it almost looks like if you're analyzing the financial markets, like, well, there's going to be a change. Their executive suite's gone. The board's going to hire new people and watch them tick back up. This screams coaching change and overpaying in short order at Auburn. So,
Yes,
we have not heard the last of them, but dear God, to say the fall off is precipitous would not do it justice.
It's glorious to watch. Good. That long-term should benefit many schools, and one of them would be us. Some of the other SEC schools, but others might be looking right over here. Let's make it happen. I don't know how we've ignored the biggest news of the day so far, which is that EA Sports added the Pop-Tart Bowl mascot amongst 35 new mascots for the College Football 26 game.
Yes, that's awesome. That will be the most played neutral site bowl that's not a New Year's Six.
Oh, yeah.
In video game history.
Just so that Pop-Tart dude can roll out there with that silly smile on his face.
And so you can kill him and skin him alive like they did 2 years ago in the initial one where they drop him in the toaster. Like, if you think about that, actually, that's pretty brutal.
For College Football 26, we prioritized expanding and improving features to bring even more authenticity and personality to the game. We heard your feedback from last year, and this year we're excited to introduce new mascots and touchdown/turnover traditions that celebrate each program's uniqueness to immerse players in the lively culture of college football. So, yeah, that's what we got. Rocky the Bull is now in the game for South Florida. Bill the Goat is in the game for Navy. Let's see, what else did they get? Oh, Herky the Hawk for Iowa.
Oh, nice.
Houston sorry ass has Shasta the Cougar.
Shasta?
I'm gonna keep texting that kid. Houston
question mark.
Hey, Pistol Pete's in the game for Wyoming, and that's what I'm talking about. Chauncey the Chanticleer for Coastal Carolina as well.
Maybe the folks in the chat can help. We found some of the greatest mascot names in history about 2 months ago. I don't remember them. I'm hoping that they're a part of this list, but we found some amazing ones.
East Carolina's Petey the Pirate. Northwestern's Willie the Wildcat. Benny the Beaver now in the game for Oregon State, buddy.
Wait a minute. Let me check underneath my desk, see if he's there. Benny, I'm here.
I didn't know Kentucky's Wildcat was known as Scratch.
Take me to the Three Rivers. You can't come with us, Benny. You can't come on the trip.
No. Also, Texas Tech's the Masked Rider in Raider Red.
Ooh, that was probably difficult.
Out on the horse, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Zippy the Kangaroo is in the game for Akron.
Zippy
the
Kangaroo.
Mm-hmm. Bowling Green got Freddie into the game. Butch T. Cougar is in the game for Washington State. But the highlight is the fact that...
oh, yeah, it was Keggy the Keg.
Oh, that was our favorite.
Yeah.
That was good. Keggy the Keg was good.
Thank you, Ryan.
But the Pop-Tart Bowl mascot amongst 35 new mascot additions to College Football 26, which is around the corner. I mean, from coming out, that game comes out, it's time to go.
Part of the list, and it's returned to the list.
It is part of the list. It's part of the process for all those years. The game comes out. You familiarize yourself with the latest additions and quirks of the game.
I got invited to a new dynasty. And I said, probably so. Like, I'm in. If you guys have the opening, I'm in. But they're debating right now. This is the old.
Are you going to be Houston after all of our conversation?
I don't know. I do want to start at a mid-tier to a lower tier.
I always start at the lowest
to run those guys down, because now they're years in, so they're up to these places, these highs. I want to run them down. But it's the old debate we used to have. Do you buy the new title or do you keep the current title in terms of College Football 25 or 26?
No, you buy the new title.
Well, they're debating, and I'm saying
there's no debate.
I'm saying let me know. You guys let me know when.
You always buy the new title.
I don't know that you can move the dynasty. Maybe nowadays you can, but back in the day when I was in college, you could not. You'd have to start from scratch, which was really annoying.
Well, I would just say, guys, we've got. I mean, the Pop-Tart's in the new game, not the old game. And also, Arkansas is Big Red is in the new game, not the old game. Even the damn Duke Blue Devils in the new game, not the old game. You're going to have to do the right thing.
That one's annoying.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's you could do so much better, right?
Yes. Anytime you have the good fortune of having the devil in your name, you can do great things.
Honestly, I think it would be even better if it was just, this makes sense, trust me, if it was worse. Like just a dude in a $5 blue spandex suit,
right.
Running around with a pitchfork.
Like the stupid-looking tree for Stanford,
right?
Which is the best.
Yes.
Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas now have the cold tubs that people are utilizing for better health. In addition to all of the hot springs, hot tubs, spas, pools and spas, all that stuff, they'll come get your old one still, haul it away, give you money towards a solution in a new hot tub. And, of course, Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas are still your answer for chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, everything that you need if you have a hot tub. But now you can get the cold plunge tub as well. And this is a very efficient use of space here. When you see it, it's just the right size. It is, it's going to be great because it's hot springs and they don't put their name on anything unless it's awesome. So I've had a chance to go by there off of Greer Road and see that thing. It is perfect for a deck or even within your house if you got a porch, something along those lines, and they'll make it affordable for you. Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas off of Greer Road. Check them out today. Chef Cameron Show, hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with you. Stay with us. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, got to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. It's MillerSeptic.com.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring fever? Your only prescription is the Lawn Johns. Hi, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We can make your landscape more appealing by providing you with award-winning lawn care. With 4 levels of service, the Lawn Johns offers you more choices than the rest. More flowers, more mulch, or more pine straw all means that your home or office will be more beautiful than ever. So if you've got spring fever, go to thelawnjohns.com or just look for our big purple truck.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old Funny Paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like Tallahassee Automobile Museum, Krispy Kreme Donuts, Keith Lawson Services, or ABC Flooring. Tallahassee's leading supplier of in-stock, top-of-the-line ceramic, carpet, waterproof, and hardwood floors since 1990. At ABC Flooring, you can pick out your floor, and installation can begin in 48 hours. ABC Flooring is also the leading supplier of in-stock landlord property management products in the Panhandle. Visit their warehouse showroom on Capitol Circle Southeast or call 877-6600.
You know, fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your sports flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Big recruiting weekend for Florida State football. They have a quarterback for their 2026 recruiting class, four-star Jaden O'Neal. He had decommitted from Oklahoma late last week. It became pretty clear that he wanted to head to Florida State, and now the number 234 overall prospect and number 16 quarterback in the 2026 recruiting class is committed to Florida State. He's also the number 2 recruit coming out of the state of Oklahoma. Also, they have picked up an offensive lineman in Luke Francis, 6'5", 335 pounds. He has given his verbal commitment. The bad news, 3-star offensive tackle Xavier Payne, he has decommitted from Florida State. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guys in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co. LLC. Used with permission.
Very old school. He's very comfortable. Very old school. Comparing to the best. Very old heating and air conditioning. Very comfortable. He's with very good.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
There's no heating and air conditioning.
Now that it's warm outside, your fireplace is probably the last thing on your mind. But smart homeowners know summer is the best time to get chimney work done. J. Walker Enterprises handles chimney inspections, repairs, waterproofing, custom caps, and so much more. Beat the busy season and be fire safe before it gets cold. Visit jwalkerenterprises.com and book your off-season service today.
Science-packed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't think we woke up expecting all of this. Florida State gets the good news that Devin Carter has flipped to Florida State. Legacy comes home to Tallahassee, leaves Auburn behind. He's one of many leaving Auburn behind, as Tom noted. But this kid is coming to Tallahassee. And for those of us old enough to remember his dad, he was dynamic. If you get anything close to that, well, my goodness, then you got a good one. Nice to have some achievements in recruiting, some wins in recruiting. Again, all with the understanding that this will be a long race to the finish line to get those signatures, and it better involve some wins along the way, or else it'll mean nothing. But for now, it has created momentum. I see in the chat there, Tom, we've got some of the reaction to this, I suppose, that we'll play during the break.
Correct. And it's like the Sirius XM thing. I mean, this channel just has so much.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. We invite you to look around and poke around. Subscribe to it. It's absolutely free. Florida State for the moment now in the On3 industry rankings up to 13th, which is ahead of the Florida Gators. All right, there you go. 13th for the Noles.
Yeah, I get the conundrum here. I do the thing where I'm like, well, but I shouldn't.
You can't really. I mean, this is what we have to do, which is, be in a better position than them when the ball is kicked off, if we can possibly be. When the ball is kicked off against Alabama, get to a good place where, who knows, at that point, you might be able to double down.
Well, buddy, you beat Alabama, then all of a sudden you're feeling really good about where recruiting's going. And if you heard Tommy Castellanos today, there's no doubt they're going to beat Alabama.
Yeah, that's true.
He just told you. In fact, that quote is still fun to read. I'm excited, man. People, I don't know if they know, but you go back and watch every first game that I've played in. We always start fast. I dreamed of moments like this. I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. Okay.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's a little more direct than even the first time I read it, isn't it?
Well, I think inflection helps, but still, maybe that's a shirt that'll be available on TommyC.com for his NIL. They don't have Nick Saban to save them.
I just don't see them stopping me, is the humdinger of that quote. I do like the idea of, hey, man, you go back and look at every first game I've ever played in. We always start fast. I'll have to do that. I'm not sure.
Possibly true.
It is possibly true.
Could be playing like Northeastern, but sure. Yeah.
And then the ACC, I feel like I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years.
Problem.
And now I'm with a squad. Yeah, I don't have all those slappies that I was playing with before. Now I've got some dudes. He didn't call them slappies, but he inferred as much.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he might as well have.
Yeah, he kind of did.
It doesn't really matter. He goes on to say, I hope people don't think that Florida State's going to be the same team it was last year because we have weapons. It doesn't really matter. I don't think, you know what I think? I think that nobody's thinking about Florida State. I think that the only people thinking about Florida State are the people that are in this chat, listening to this show, part of the FSU community, fans, alumni, boosters, whatever associated with Florida State. Those are the only people thinking about Florida State. It truly will be a shocker if Florida State is a topic of conversation by week 4 or 5 in college football, meaning like for the good reason, for the reason that, oh man, all right, Noles are back. We got to consider it. We got to take a good long look now at the schedule and ask yourself, are they a player in the ACC to win the conference and to make the college football playoff? Will you be having this conversation regarding Florida State's football prowess as you head to Clemson, South Carolina? That's the whole thing.
I did some game log looking. So in 2022, Tommy C's first game of the season, BC played South Carolina State, it would appear, SCST. They won 56-10. Tommy was 0 for 1, and he ran twice for 32 yards.
Yeah, all right.
2023, right? So this is the year. This is the big year. They played Northern Illinois in their first game of the season. They lost in overtime, 27-24.
How did Tommy do?
13-28 for 138 yards,
Not
2
great.
touchdowns and a pick, 9 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown. So he's 1-1 at that point, but we're going with 0-1. Now, last year's first game, we all remember that one. That was here because that was Boston College season opener.
Yes.
He went 10-16 for a $106.
He didn't have to do much.
No.
Here's a wheel route for that ass.
They did dominate, though. That is true.
Yeah.
His favorite coach and him got together and they dominated.
Had a moment.
When it was him and Halfley, they lost to Northern Illinois. So I don't know about this always first game thing.
Go back and look at it, Tom.
I did.
He's always started really fast.
1-1 in said situations.
Again, I think half this fan base will be like, oh, son, what are you doing? Not a good look. That's not a real good brand of leadership. And, oh, by the way, you've never started a game here. It's Alabama. What are you doing? And then others will be like, yes, stop moping around, you bitches. You need some arrogance, just like that of Tommy C. It doesn't really matter what he says. It does reveal some things. You can read into it. You can draw surface level context clues. There's some things there. But it doesn't really matter what he says. What matters instead is that Alabama has what many coming into the season consider to be the best offensive line in college football. And I, for one, will be watching very closely early on to see Florida State's defensive line rotation and whether or not they can hold up. You'll get answers to whether or not we're going to be in a position to strike a huge upset week one. You'll get answers to that question, not so much with Tommy C's play, but whether the defensive line can hold up against that offensive line. And if I'm Alabama, I come right out and find out. We're running the ball right at you. We're running the ball right at you repeatedly. Maybe you hold up in the first drive. Great, we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again. And it's at that point that if the answer is a resounding yes, then, hey, I'll get excited about the second half. That's my biggest worry right now. I'm excited. I mean, the game itself, I'm excited about. The anticipation for the season, I'm very excited about.
It's a total blind draw, this game. From our perspective, Alabama, you could be more predictive, but you have to be on your guard if you're an Alabama fan or an Alabama analyst. Like which Kalen DeBoer team is going to show up. I know the quarterback is different. I know the offensive coordinator's in here, so things should go smoothly. But I mean, I'm not entirely sure that you're going to get the fully formed Kalen DeBoer offense and everything that comes with it in game one. For us, it's totally blind. It's all new starters on the offense. It's new coordinators. It's a lot of new starters on defense. New scheme. Wow. That's a lot of new things happening at once against a test like Alabama.
I'll just be, it's a fact-finding mission early on. I don't think there's any doubt. We're nobody's really sure. You basically do have a new starting 22. So, yeah.
It reminds me of watching my baseball team take on a pitcher who's making his first start. That usually goes one of two ways.
You either light him up or you have no idea and you get dominated.
Because there's no book on him.
Right.
So therefore you don't know his tendencies. Yes. And you could have a veteran-laden lineup, and the next thing you know, it's sixth inning. He's at 72 pitches. You're going, oh my God, this kid's going to shove for 7 plus. And he might very well. Or the kid's out of the game, 1 2/3, 6 runs, and he's on out for 2 more. If your guy out of the bullpen can't strand him. That's usually how those games go. There could be a middle ground that this is just ugly and sloppy for both teams because it's the first game of the season, and so therefore it's within touch.
First games are always very, very difficult to predict. I agree with you there. I really like this game being where it is. Yeah. When Alabama
for our chances,
yeah. I like this game being week 1 much more than I would if this was week 5, week 6. When the announcement of this game happened, I thought, okay, well, if you got to play Alabama, A, let's get it together. Let's hope that we're have our ducks in a row. But B, let's play them early. I don't want to play them when they've kind of, especially this year, Tom, because they got a new quarterback. And I have no idea, I'm going to guess, because I could go back and look at, his recruiting rankings and, that if he was recruited by Alabama, then he was recruited by elite schools everywhere. And that as a prospect, they think very highly of him. But the actual having done it on the road against a name program in what we hope is a very real environment, intimidating environment. We don't know how the new stadium's going to play. noise-wise?
Sure.
We don't. I'm very curious about that. There are any number of questions that we have leading into this first week of the season that have us all abuzz. But I do like for the fact that first games can be sloppy. First games can be weird. Don't know how kids are going to react, especially when they never started a road game before. Okay, yeah, maybe you catch them.
Can I give you the ultimate hypothetical buzzkill right now?
Sure.
There's a significant chance there's going to be a lightning delay. It's August. It's 3:30 p.m. in August in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
There could be a little stop-start to this bad boy.
No.
Yeah, just saying.
I don't want to hear that.
I asked you if you wanted the buzzkill. You said yes.
I don't know why you want to go there. Yeah, I get a little worried about all that. Don't need that. It's funny. I was looking at the ESPN. It's list season, baby. Every Monday and Tuesday, you get your lists. And they had an article, 2026 NFL Draft Prospects, ranking top 5 prospects at every position. Matt Miller and Jordan Reed wrote this piece. You can take it for what it's worth, but what you do is you click on players, you read a little bit more. Some of the guys you already know, for example, I'll take quarterback, for example. Reed's top 5, Cade Klubnik's number 1. Well, we played them. He's got him number 1. Then you go through and you start looking. I went straight to offensive line. By the way, Clemson's also on the list for the number 1 wide receiver in Antonio Williams. Great. Number 1 quarterback, number 1 receiver. That doesn't bode well for us.
We saw how good he was a couple of years ago. So.
Yeah. So then I went to offensive line, which is really I really cared about. And they've got Caden Proctor of Alabama as a top 5 offensive line to be drafted this upcoming year. I went to guard, and Jaden Roberts is a top 5 guard to be drafted this upcoming year in the first round, perhaps. Center, not Alabama. All right, good to see. Nobody from Bama made the list. It's center. But the other tackle did. And it's just like, damn it, man.
So the A gap on the right side. Got it. That's where we're going. Darrell Jackson, feast.
Edge rusher, they've got Parker and Bain. So Clemson and Miami. Yep. Check. Play both of them. Got it. Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
Well, we're not predicting 10-2. You know, so. we have some cushion built in here for some setbacks.
Defensive tackle Tim Keenan III, Alabama, top 5. Linebacker Deontay Lawson, top 5, Alabama. Corner, no. All right, good. Just kind of fun. Just Keon Sabb, by the way, also at safety for Alabama.
What I would give for a safety, you know this, since the spring. I would love what do we need to make happen here? That's what I would say. If we could legally tamper, let's say that Miami Wisconsin case blows the doors on the transfer portal. I would call up all 5 of those safeties and say, what do we need to do to make this happen?
You would have wanted to recruit a guy like Keon Sabb at a high school, and you would see that he was very highly touted and chose Alabama and has had quite the career and will get drafted probably pretty early.
We just got to hope that Evan Cooper can do some things with those safeties, because it was clear after spring he wanted one.
He did.
From the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the kid from USC who's basically a freshman.
Yeah, you're worried about it, are you?
Yes. Significantly.
Yeah, safety. Is it safe to say that's your number 1 concern on the team? You tend to bring this up more than anything else. Yeah,
I think so. You stabilize corner, even though I didn't know that we needed something there. We found that out when we broke the bank for Jeremiah Wilson. So you stabilize that position. I'm going to assume, perhaps erroneously, that Elijah Herring.
I think he's going to play well.
And what we have is enough. Plus, that's Tony White's point of expertise.
Yeah, area of expertise. Yep, he was a linebacker.
I think that's going to help you raise your floor so it doesn't rise to the level of the safety concern. Defensive line, I don't have concerns on that level.
I have depth concerns there. That's my number 1 concern.
Right, but for Alabama's purposes,
it's game 1. Yeah.
First game, so you have, in theory, everybody, unless our luck stays the same, in which case somebody will just, roll over their ankle, walk into their car, and they'll be unavailable. O-line, I don't know, but I know they're veteran. So, okay, receiver, I feel fine. Running back, I feel fine. Quarterback is what it is. Tight end, certainly, I got no problems there. I think safety and kicker are my two top concerns.
And you would say the other safety, because Shaheem Brown's going to start.
I don't know what he is still after all this time.
Somebody turned it down last year. He did not play an aggressive brand of football that I enjoyed.
Right. Like if you put Earl Little's motor in Shaheem Brown's body, you got something there. But
I think Shaheem got affected by a corrosive culture last year that just spiraled out of control.
He didn't help himself getting pulled over.
No. I think there was. It's unfortunate. I understand your concerns.
Okay. I appreciate that.
I understand.
That's a very 21st century back and forth. I understand your concerns.
I understand your concerns.
Thank you for making me feel validated.
I understand your concerns. I don't think they're without merit. If you're looking for a better way to socialize and sip and you don't want to get all kinds of blotto drunk, have you considered Cornbread Hemp's new THC seltzers? There you go. That's the ticket to hanging out without a hangover. Just relaxation. Doesn't need to come with all these severe consequences. It's a nice little... Tommy, you've had these. You like them.
It's a seltzer.
Tastes great. You feel pretty amazing afterwards. It's a low-calorie drink. 30 total calories. That's it. Not all the added sugar. Made with pure THC and all natural ingredients. No synthetics, which is indicative of a cornbread product, right? 4 delicious flavors. You got blueberry breeze, peach tea, raspberry limeade, and salted watermelon. There you go. So right now, if you, Jeff Cameron Show listeners can save 30% off your order and enjoy free shipping. Are we using code Warchant?
That one is code Cameron.
Okay, switch. Just making sure. Code Cameron. Saving tons of money. How about that? For orders over $75, you'll save 30%. Head to cornbreadhemp.com/code Cameron. Use code Cameron at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/code Cameron. Cornbread Hemp. This is the good life.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At waywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs. From the fairway to the fire pit, we've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
When you need the plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to wait?
Hey guys, we really need you over here. My toddler just flushed a whole bunch of toys down the toilet, and everything, and I mean everything, is backing up.
2 hours?
Hey guys, just checking in. The water has reached the hallway now, and it's getting pretty deep. Can you get here anytime soon?
4 hours?
Hey guys, can you please hurry? Now my wiener dog is doing the backstroke over here, and they're not known to be strong swimmers. Hey honey, grab his life jacket.
8 hours?
Oh, so now you're here.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. Our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. And now M&L Plumbing can also be your go-to for all septic tank pump-out services. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing. Your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Stephen, Irma, and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use Easy Cater, the easy way to get food for work.
Science-backed, technology tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Chaffel, Warchant.com. In a few minutes, he'll join us as he's wont to do on Mondays. Look forward to hearing his thoughts on the weekend that was, Florida State's uptick in recruiting, and thoughts on Tommy Castellanos and not being shy. I think that's one way of phrasing that, right? Not being overly shy. Let's see. Let's wait and see. There'll be a lot to say during and after. I know this. I know that none of it is really going to matter all that much when we're about midway through the first quarter. So let's hope that they're brimming with confidence.
And I would think if you're a teammate of Tommy's, you love all of this right now. As long as the times are good, you're fine with everything he says. But from the outside, not in that locker room, this is just somebody who's watched this kind of stuff for many years saying, ooh, if it gets bad, I could see how that would spiral fast. Hopefully we never get there, though.
Yeah, but only specifically because of the personality type that was revealed with the statements, not the statements themselves, because you're not worried about Boston College's feelings and the players that played with him.
Correct.
You just know that it reveals that he's about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As much as he'll tell you that it's about saving his boss's job.
Which I'm sure Mike did not love to read. That was probably less than ideal. We didn't get a chance because it happened over the weekend, and we seemed so much information comes in so quickly. We did not get a chance to talk about four-star quarterback Jaden O'Neal. Now, we mentioned it in the first hour about momentum and recruiting, but Jaden O'Neal announcing his commitment to Florida State on Sunday night, so last night. And most people anticipated the flip. Most people felt like this was coming. That's another reason that maybe it's not the buzz that it would have been if it came out of nowhere. Most people seem to understand this was going to happen. He had been pledged to Oklahoma. Oklahoma has their eyes on a different quarterback. Florida State needed a quarterback commit. It doesn't mean he's an also-ran. He's a four-star guy, a top 300 guy, and you get him, and you've gained some momentum along the way. So, he was considered one of the better prospects for Oklahoma in their class. And, this is now a recruiting cycle that has seen some gains for Florida State. And as much as we've lamented Florida State's lack of prowess in recruiting, you can get a little excited about guys. I do think a lot of people wonder how he fits, but that's not for us to decide. Gus will have to make it work. He's not unathletic. He's got, he's a better passer than he is runner. And that's something that I think that a lot of people raise an eyebrow with, just because he didn't figure you'd get too many quarterbacks who are labeled as such in Gus Malzahn's offense. But Gus seemingly loves him. And I know it resonates with players that you're seeking to recruit now, in particular at wide receiver. On the horn, ready to roll, is in fact our own Ira Chaffel, Warchant.com. Hello, Ira. How are you, brother?
I'm great, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, man. So what to make of the bravado of one Tommy Castellanos and his comments to Mr. Nakos?
Man, I'm fine with it, honestly. But I was fine with it when Geno Hayes talked big about Tim Tebow. So maybe I'm not the best person to judge. I've never had a problem with – I don't know why we live in this world where people think that teams are not motivated unless somebody says something silly. Alabama was coming to Doak Campbell Stadium in their season opener. I think they were going to be plenty motivated whether or not Tommy did this interview or not.
I agree with that. The only part that we even took issue with was with he kind of rolled his old teammates at BC, which is less than ideal, at least in terms of a form of leadership.
No, I hear you. But I think if Bill O'Brien hadn't taken kind of a shot at him when he was leaving the team, I think maybe the things wouldn't have been so salty on his part now. But again, at the end of the day, it's reality. I mean, it's nothing. He didn't say anything. You go back through what he said, none of it's wrong. I mean, he was on a team of pretty average football players. Now he's got some better football players. Whether or not they're good enough to beat Alabama, we'll see. But Tommy Castellanos did put up a lot of yards and a lot of numbers over those 2 seasons when he was in the game and didn't have a ton of other talent to work with. So, again, I get it. I understand why people are going to wring their hands a little bit, but I personally don't, have much of a problem with it.
I wondered if Mike thought it was fun to read that he's trying to save his job.
that was probably the funniest thing to me. It's like, listen, dude, I think those guys are going to be okay. I mean, we certainly know Mike Norvell's going to be okay, but all the other assistant coaches, they're going to be okay. If they have to sell their $1 million houses, it's going to work out.
I said the same thing. I was like, no, Tommy, don't worry about these guys and their jobs, man. I don't need you to worry about their jobs. They're going to be fine. They put themselves in this predicament currently. You just go, you do you and play well.
I appreciate the sentiment, though. Listen, and again, I do wonder if there's a little bit of him that looks around the room and says, you know what, we don't have a ton of alphas here. We don't have a ton of guys that probably walk into a room with their chest out right now after a 2-10 football season. Maybe he is trying to breathe some life into it. That's why when I made the comment about Geno Hayes, that was what Geno Hayes was trying to do that day back in 2008, whatever it was, because he just knew that everybody thought Florida State was going to get stomped. So he tried to get his guys some confidence, and it didn't work out. But it's not like Tim Tebow wasn't going to run him over anyway.
Right. That's for sure. By the way, Devin Carter flips from Auburn, legacy recruit, comes to Tallahassee. And since we last spoke, Jaden O'Neal, they get their quarterback in recruiting as well. Florida State gaining some momentum in recruiting. We all know it's predicated on whether or not they actually go out and win some damn football games. But in the interim, it's nice to get some yeses.
You got to love Devin Carter because he's a throwback. He's a Reed.
Yes, he is.
He was committed to Florida State and then decommitted, committed to Auburn, decommitted. Now he's back with Florida State. So, that's good. And I don't think it's totally unrelated to them getting Jaden O'Neal. I mean, I think we were hearing Devin Carter was probably going to flip back to FSU anyway. It seemed like he really liked what he saw when he came on the visits in the spring from Gus Malzahn and Tim Harris, the new receivers coach. And then, but I do think getting a quarterback in the fold, just helps. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It helps. Those guys now know who they might be playing with when they get here. Now the question is, again, the picture with Jaden O'Neal getting the keys from Tommy Castellanos on his recruiting visit. I'm not sure Kevin Sperry and Brock Glenn might have loved that, but listen, it's good for those incoming recruits to know that, hey, Florida State signed a pretty big time quarterback, or at least has got a commitment from a pretty big time quarterback. And that should give them some confidence about where things are going on off.
I laughed at that as well, Ira, because I thought, well, you've never started a game for Florida State. Why are you handing keys to anybody? You've never started a game. Oh, we'll see, buddy. Can you believe tomorrow it'll be 59 days until the start of college football, buddy, tomorrow.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting. It's at some point Corey will even get excited about it. He'll let himself get excited. But yeah, no, man, it's they're going to be practicing, and we're going to be at ACC kickoff in just a matter of a few weeks, and then they'll be practicing probably a few days after that, and we'll be in it, man.
I'm getting nervous because it's such a huge season. I know we'll talk about this tomorrow in headlines, but every day closer, and when you read stuff, even if it's tangential, just having a taste of college football, because practices start soon. ACC kickoff, as you just alluded to, is next month, and it's soon. You just start to feel it a little bit more, but also the weight, the gravitas of what's happening here. I mean, again, he either will or he won't. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It's Mike's job. We'll see. But there's a lot on the line with all the money being spent on facilities and upgrades and, of course, the coaching staff. So this is a make-or-break season for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And from that standpoint, I almost go into it feeling good about that. I don't think we're going to come out of this year really kind of wondering whether it's going to work or not. I think there's a kind of probably a narrow path in the middle there where maybe they win 7 games and they look decent in some of the losses and they feel like it's too expensive to make a change. And so you just kind of keep treading water. I think that's a really narrow path. And I don't think that's probably where it's going to end up. I think it's going to end up with Mike having a bounce back year. And we may look at last year and say, okay, well, they screwed up, but they fixed it. They cleaned up their own mess. And now it's about trying to really put a better foundation for the future in terms of high school recruiting and all these other things. One thing that, I just tweeted about this, that, for all the comments about 3-star Mike Norvell as a recruiter, right now they have 9 4-star commitments. There's only 7 teams in the country that have more 4 or 5 stars. Now, granted, they have to go sign them, but last year they would have had a great class, except for they went 2-10. So if he does this, if they do turn it around, if he does close on this class and they have a good class, and 2024 can be seen as an aberration, well, now you're moving in the right direction. On the other side of it, if it goes poor, then I don't know how they're going to figure out how to pay that money, but they're going to have to figure out how to pay that money. So I think that, there's a 95% chance, I think, that we're going to know one way or the other. So I like that. I like that we're not going to be treading water, because I think there's a slim chance of it being kind of in the middle there.
Yeah, being in limbo is no way to be. You want precision. You want to know one way or the other. Brother, we'll talk tomorrow. Always appreciate it, and I'll listen to you tonight on the Smash.
Thanks, Chef. See you, man.
Yeah, brother. Be good. IrishFellWarchant.com. Yeah, he did just tweet that out. For all the 3-star Mike jokes, FSU now has 9 4-star commitments in this class. There are 7 teams in the country with more than 4 and 5 stars than that. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Any more 4 stars on the cusp of committing to Florida State?
There are a couple. The aforementioned Jay Timmons, Lawrence Timmons, is a 4-star defensive back who Florida State is in on. There's another potential, I think, defensive back. And if Madden Williams wants to say yes, I'm sure they would make room for him. Also, Jumbo ATH tight end Hezzy. Remember Hezzy?
Mm-hmm.
I forget his last name. I did the video yesterday, and I forget his last name. I think he's a July 12th decision, but Florida State is one of the finalists there. A 280-pound tight end.
All right, then.
Yeah. So, yeah, there are some more potentials on the horizon.
I feel like a 280-pound tight end should have a lot of tattoos. I just feel that way.
He was wearing a hoodie yesterday. So
if he doesn't have them, I'd tell him to get them. At 280 pounds, throw some tattoos on you, buddy. I want to edge to you, a little meanness to you.
Hezzy Kent. Kent is his last name.
Plus, that's the other reason. If you're Hezzy, you got to have an arm sleeve.
There's also another legacy out there that's a 4-star that could flip to Florida State. That's Brody Jennings.
Bradley Jennings' kid.
Yeah.
Sadly passed away. And that was really, really shocking, obviously. I mean, he's too young, and it broke my heart because I loved watching him play when he was here. But that's the last of his 3 kids, I think, to be entering into college football. I believe that's right. It'd be great to get him. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Leon County Sheriff's Office released an update Friday afternoon on the sudden death of Andrew Wiley. Wiley was the
Hello, everybody. It's Aslan and Michael Langston, everybody. We've got recruiting news to share with you. Thanks for being here. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to warchant.com. If you're a student, email us, support@warchant.com from your fsu.edu email address. We'll get you a full year of premium access to warchant.com. I've already said hit the thumbs up, Michael. Let's get right to it, man. This is some real, authentic, in-the-moment reaction, man. Florida State, I guess with a double flip, they get a legacy to come back into the fold. Devin Carter coming to Tallahassee, Michael. How surprising, and what does this mean for the Noles in the 26th class?
Major addition because you're getting a top-notch receiver. Right after you got your quarterback the night before, I think it's a big development for FSU. Got Devin Carter back. He's visited 3 times around in the spring, so you knew something was starting to trend and feel. And I put in a pick for FSU last night before all this went down, but it's a major addition. And I think adding Jaden O'Neal, because Jaden really liked Devin. And so their two are kind of intertwined with each other and connected. And I think once FSU got Jaden done, I felt like there was a really good chance this was going to happen. So, major flip getting him back from Auburn. And I've told people this for a while, like Devin just wanted to see FSU look like a product that he feels like you can envision yourself and you can put some, I don't know, you feel comfortable about where the future is going. And I think that's what Devin was looking for. And I think he got that when he watched FSU practice several times. I think, and now they got it done, and they got a blue chip receiver.
Obviously, the son of the great Dexter Carter, Devin Carter, wide receiver, really good numbers there. 124th overall prospect in the nation, 19th receiver, number 15 prospect out of the state of Georgia. What do you like about his game as receiver, slot guy, somebody out wide, versatility? What do you think speaks volumes to Devin Carter's game and why this makes it such a good addition for Florida State, Michael?
Well, I think his speed is really good, but I think it's also his versatility that he can play outside or inside. You don't have to just lock him into the slot position. He's a guy that can play. He's physical enough to go, in the inside as far as playing inside, and hands are really good. He shows a lot of that throughout his whole career, whether it's at Douglas or other spots, and just a guy overall versatility wise that I just love. Speed has always been good, but the versatility just to play a lot of different spots is makes him really special. People see a lot about just the speed, the way he pulls away from.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
By the way, the Smash tonight, you saw it there, 7 o'clock, Tom and Ira, and we're talking about with a lot of things that are happening in and around Florida State. That's good news. Should also mention we've got a name who went above and beyond, so we'll do it right now, Tom. Fire it up.
Above and beyond. Above and beyond. Above and beyond.
Above and beyond. So I don't know where I would begin because the NBA champions did not get a great performance from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but they did get the championship. So I'd either lean that way, or I would just say it's, as always, freaking LSU in the College World Series. Forget about it. Over and over and over. What magic soup or pudding or ingredient? What are we doing? It's not supposed to happen that way. It's number 8 for LSU as they they get the magic of a 9th inning collapse by Arkansas, because of course they did on a ball that's caught 99.9% of the time, Tom, but not against LSU. No, not when they're in the World Series,
and not if you're Arkansas, because them and pop-ups.
Unbelievable. But so I'd go one of those two routes. How about just LSU baseball?
Yeah, I think that's fair. You could point to Keegan Bradley, and I think I'll go to Keegan Bradley. He had help to win over the weekend.
Old Tommy's bogey on 16 and 18 from the middle of the fairway will hurt your feelings.
We're starting to get a little bit of Lee Westwood vibes from Tommy Fleetwood.
It sucks because I like Tommy, and he's won internationally a million times and everything else. But yeah,
my eyes will water if he gets a win in a premier event of some kind. It could be a featured event. What do they call these? Elevated
events. This was an elevated event. Great field.
Or a major. God forbid he wins a PGA or something along those lines.
He's got 3 runners-ups in majors. He's been right there.
If he has his moment, I'm going to weep for him. In a small way, by eyes watering. We're not weeping. That's a little strong.
Yeah, weeping's a bit much.
Yeah. But for Keegan, what a great moment. Because we knew he got squeezed out of the last Ryder Cup by Zach Johnson, who was playing with friends. He wanted his friends to be along with him for the trip to Italy. So he was wronged. He had deserved, I think the merit was there for him to be a part of that team. Now he's the captain, and he said he would only play as a captain of the Ryder Cup team if he earned it outright.
Well, he's down 9th.
He's going to earn it outright. There's no way he doesn't at this point. He's one of the 12 best Americans in golf right now. So the ultimate moment for this guy who has lived and breathed the Ryder Cup. He hasn't had the crack at being at the Ryder Cup in a while, or has he ever? Last time he got screwed. This time he's going to earn it the hard way and be a playing captain. That's so cool. That's how wild is that? That's a great end to that story.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a huge fan. Just didn't. Yeah, he stuck it. There's no getting around that.
Hey, man, he went and got it.
Dude, he went and got it.
You
That
can't be
shot on
extra-
18 is.
There's no reason to blame him for the folks of Connecticut. That's its own thing. He's in his own little bubble here, and against the tide of a JT, Jordan Spieth, and Zach Johnson or Keegan Bradley, I'm choosing Keegan Bradley every single time. So this is nice.
Yeah.
It's a plank in the eye of Zach Johnson. That's why I.
Well, I like planks in the eye of Zach Johnson. That's true. I don't know why people feel like anytime an American golfer bests somebody from England that they need to chant USA, USA, or chant USA in any golf event. It's a golf event, but they do.
It's not the Ryder Cup. It's the
They
dumbest
felt
thing.
like it was, though. and
They
it's
felt
just,
like they just won the Ryder Cup.
ridiculous.
No, it's Connecticut bros. I lived amongst these people. They come down to the Rockaways in the summer. They're insufferable people. They think they have a sense of entitlement that is otherworldly.
Yeah.
And they got to see their hometown guy win
Well,
one.
it's the second time he's won there.
But they're conflating it with save that energy for Bethpage,
For the
man.
Ryder Cup.
That's all you need.
Yes,
It doesn't need to be a USA.
When it's actually an international event at that point.
Because I'm with you. In the individual event, I'm rooting for Tommy Fleetwood to not choke it away.
Of course.
Because you can see the fear. Every time he gets to these moments, you see the fear rise to the surface, and I would like to see him overcome that. But if you're going to lose to a guy who gets to stick the plank in the eye of Zach Johnson.
Well, and lose to the guy who, when given the opportunity, stuck it.
Yes, he did.
I mean, he stuck it. And as soon as that left his club and the sound that it made and the body language he had, you thought, that's going to be close.
Also, we got to get rid of the caddy, Team Fleetwood. I'm sorry. This is like the discussion we've had about flying and captains and having the bedside manner. That dude's voice was way too shaky for the better part of 2 hours yesterday.
Well, moreover, and this never works out well, it feels like to me, but when you've had 8 minutes standing in the middle of the fairway, benign conditions, and you're holding a 7-iron or an 8-iron, and he calls off the club, and you're uncertain, and then you ask him, well, and then you switch clubs before that shot? I mean, come on, this is a standard shot in the middle. The drive was the hard part, and he buried it down the heart. Like that, you did the hard part.
Right, and on 17, he just came out of the bunker and hit a beauty of a shot. Yeah.
That hurt. That hurt.
You think about these moments in golf history where Jordan Spieth is being berated by his caddy when he's afraid of Tiger Woods not that long ago. And the caddy says, you're Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
And then Tiger was afraid of the putt on 16 when he won his final Masters. He stuck it to a foot, and he asked Joe LaCava, he's like, do you think this is outside left or left edge? He
He's
goes,
like, stop it.
it's in the middle, Tiger.
It's a great
Stop being a moron.
It was a great line.
Just hit the putt.
It's in the middle, my man.
What are you talking about? That's what you need. Tommy needs the ultimate one of those, because that guy ain't going to cut it. He went above and beyond in shakiness.
Tommy Fleetwood needs Tommy Castellanos on the bag. That's what he needs. Right. Tommy Fleetwood will be sitting there nervous Nelly. Castellanos like, bitch, Tommy Fleetwood, go up there and hit this ball. Let's go.
I don't see Tiger waiting on that green. Jack Nicklaus isn't walking with us in the final pairing.
Let's go. Hit your shot, man. I did check during the break. We still have folks that weigh in to these things on Twitter, and a lot of the younger fan base are like, yeah, man, do it. Let's go. Tired of being weak-minded, lacking confidence. Be bold. I guess because people talk so much anymore, it won't matter. It doesn't really matter. By the way, did you see that? I don't know if you checked these things, but another grouping of our top 40 was released.
I scanned it. I know that came out this morning, right around the same time the Board of Trustees thing happened.
Well, wasn't the Board of Trustees thing a formality?
Yes, once
$22.5 million to athletics for revenue sharing is what I'm referencing for those that did not see that story. This is a follow-up to last week's story.
Yeah, I think it came down to whether or not it was going to be unanimous or not, but it was going to be approved. The moment that the Board of Governors throughout the state, this is something that Peter Collins spearheaded for Florida State's interest, and everybody else in every other university had their own person like that. Once it was approved, and we discussed that last week, yeah, the university is absolutely going to move the money. But the presentation, at least, if you're going to watch it, which I did, it had a couple of interesting notes that I'll put in the back of my head in case we have circumstances like does winning lead to financial success and to what extent? I now have numbers to go along with that.
Well, let's talk about it right here because we've got 6 minutes in the segment to go, and I would like to hear specifically. We know the answer is it's important to win games, higher profile, greater impact overall for your university. Specifically, what it leads to is a greater enrollment.
Application pool, which is great because that raises your standards. It's a numbers game.
Mhm.
You also want a high rejection rate. It's better for your
It looks good.
prestige.
Looks good,
Yeah.
right?
So if you finish in the top 20 in college football, this is a study from 2013. So it's a little dated, but it's close enough. If you finish in the top 20 in college football, you see a 2.5% increase in applications received as a university.
Mm-hmm.
That number climbs to 3.5% if you finish in the top 10. And then the one that everybody knows about is a national title.
Yep.
That's 8%. An 8% increase in applications from students across the country if you win a national title. In basketball, there are more tiers. If you make the tournament, it's a 1% bump. If it's a Sweet 16, you're looking at 3.5%. And it goes all the way up to 8%. Also, interestingly enough, if you win a basketball national title, it climbs all the way to 8% increase as well. So what it goes to show you, what I took from it as I'm waiting for them to approve this thing, how many applications we're missing out on in the last 12 months on account of football and basketball, and how many applications we're missing out on in the last 24, 36 months from basketball being ice cold as a program. A lot. So this is where you can actually show that there is a monetary benefit to the university academic mission to the success of a program. Interesting study, and a good way for Alford to bring the case to the board to say, yeah, we need your $22.5 million. So chop, let's go.
Yeah, that formality played out. They got it. And the auxiliary funds are there, and here we go. Now let's get to paying players. I did not follow up in the manner that I should have last week, in which I referenced that the Battles Inn is still of vital importance. And so when we talk about the Battles Inn as an arm of fundraising to help put together rosters for, and in particular, the football program, although they help out with golf and they help out in other areas, we know that. It's still of vital importance. It's changing, and the way it operates is changing, and how it operates and with whom is changing. But what hasn't changed is the necessity for it and the ability to add to your roster because of it. So that's really what people want to know. Is it still vital? Does it still matter? Are they still giving money in order to help out the football program and its roster building? The answer is a resounding yes.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get a text from Ingram in 5 minutes after I say this, but once upon a time before collectives, there was the black market of college sports recruiting and things that needed to happen, right? You needed the guy who knew the guy who could get you the thing.
Or the bag man.
Right, exactly. And then there was the era where those bag men came out of hiding and they had jobs with collectives and they worked to raise funds for the collectives, and everything's out in the open. I think the Battle's End is now the gray in the gray market, because the House settlement, there's no way that this is going to be a hard and fast cap of $20.5 million. So these institutions, these collectives are still extremely necessary. Whether their mission statement might change on their website, they still need you big time. They still need you.
Well, and also, okay, look, so the rev sharing pool that you're talking about for now, whatever that $20.5 million, $22 million, whatever that is, okay, that will continue to go up, right? But there will be NIL deals, there will be marketing campaigns and things that are utilized by these other arms, these other spaces. That's what these things will be. The Battles in this case, will be something along those lines, but will be of vital importance to perhaps supplement.
Hey, man,
what's being spent of the pool of money?
If there's a way you could get the rev share up an extra $500K to $1 million for baseball, because maybe the Battle's End is doing such great work and fundraising, maybe that's the purpose. Something like that. Indirectly, if you want baseball or basketball or another sport to be better on the rev share side that is reported by the university, then the Battle's End needs to hold weight still, and a good and heavy weight.
And work out deals with private companies that can't be looked into.
Sure. Maybe.
Good luck enforcing that.
That's right. Well, I'm sorry, Deloitte. The threshold was $600. We signed this player for $599 with a Powerade. for a national commercial.
It's a coincidence they got a new car right after.
I mean, unbelievable deal for Powerade, right? They only had to pay $5.99.
Well, yeah, they can show you whatever they want to show you, right? AboveandBeyondVR.com. We're talking about who went above and beyond. There you go. There are deals. Look at these deals. Look at them.
3-night prices, all in.
Money saving left and right is what you're doing using promo code JCS.
Yeah, this is before the savings. I didn't even punch that in.
You should have typed it in. See the significance. That's all in 3 nights right there. Rustic tiny home on the Pinellas Trail.
Under $300 a night.
Heated pool. Forget about it. The surf shack looks good too.
Those are the ones we walk through. I would stay there because the Pinellas Trail is right behind you.
It's right behind you. Go walking over there to
the takes you to downtown Dunedin.
Yeah, which is cool.
Thank you very much.
And they got the music and the food and the festivals and all the things happening. Yeah. Farmhouse is not. There's a lot. There's even stuff by the water, which we talk about a lot too. That's we are always showing you the water, but there's the downtown Dunedin aspect of this as well.
It's a great town.
It's a cool. It's
nothing
come
like
a
when I
long
was
way.
a kid, yeah,
it's come a long.
I think
long
what
way.
St. Pete is to you, Dunedin is to me.
There was nothing in Dunedin.
There was
Back when I was growing up.
petite and bumpy roads. That's what you had.
Bumpy roads. Good old Dunedin. The bumpy road Dunedin family. Final hour, forthcoming bonus hour. Hang in. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring?